NNF After Dark is brought to you by Sandpiper Vacations. For all of your vacation planning needs, visit www.sandpipervacations.com. Tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Welcome to NNF After Dark. Chris is going to take you through the highlights of the previous episode and maybe even say some bad words, plus celebrity interviews and much, much more. And now, here he is, the scumbag reselling hoarder himself, Chris Yob.
Welcome to another installment of No New Friends After Dark, the podcast where we dig into the cream pie of life, because we love having cream pies around here.
Wow, we changed it this week.
That was unscripted. That was just something that came to me for some reason. Came all over me for some reason. Okay, so anyway, so we dig into the very
Chris,
top
we have
filling
guests.
of the... Sometimes there's like there's a meringue on top. We dig down to the cream, into the pie crust. What I'm trying to say, there are a lot of layers to life. There's a lot of layers to life. We dig into it. We tell you about it. We talk about it, because this is life, baby. This is No New Friends After, like I said already, and like you know, because you're listening to the podcast. Along... Why am I explaining this 100 times? Because we're live on Twitch right now.
No.
Don't listen. You're ruining the whole mojo of the intro that you wrote, Scott. Okay. Pulling back the curtain, like we pull back the curtain of the previous episode on this podcast, Scott writes every intro for me. So I apologize if they're super long and super drug out, but Scott makes me read every line word for word. Here's the next thing. Okay, so I went to the cream pie of life. I went to the pie crust. Okay. Okay. So we are now streaming live on Twitch. If you want to watch us live on Twitch, twitch.tv/NNF podcast. You can watch us live on Wednesday nights around 10-ish o'clock. Scott, go ahead. You're in a couple.
No, you're fine. This isn't painful at all.
Okay. No, I'm reading everything you wrote for me.
I thought it was.
I would rather rupture my Achilles.
Thank you.
Than continue with this intro. 2 times.
Would you? If you play basketball against a bunch of middle school kids, you can too, Scott. The various amount of voices you hear tonight are our very special guests. We have so many guests on tonight, so many that. Sorry, I'm not gonna lie. I brushed down my chest and I totally muted my headset. And I freaked out for a second.
I promise we are a professional podcast. I know it sounds like this is our first episode.
Yeah.
Jesus, you're embarrassing me.
That's part of the podcast. That you wrote this intro. Alongside with me in virtual studio is Scott from the No New Friends podcast. Scott, how are you
fantastic.
Doing? I don't care. And we have Nick, the emotional support gay from Sandpiper Vacations. Nick, I actually care about your well-being.
Oh, thank you. I'm better now that I'm here with you guys.
Thank you. I'm sorry, this intro is really long and drag out. Scott makes you read every single line word for word. I really apologize.
Oh my gosh.
We have the sophisticated gentleman on tonight. How are you doing, SG?
I need an Advil after this intro.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I get paid to do this. I have to do exactly what I'm told. But last but certainly not least, we have the members of the Black Lincoln Collective podcast. Alan, Freddie, and Parker. All of you speak at once.
Hey,
How are you guys doing?
We're doing all right. Oh, I thought we were all doing it at the same time.
Max and Dick.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Scott has to edit this podcast, so I just want it to be as difficult as possible for him to edit. So that's why I want you all to speak at once. So seriously, thank you guys so much for staying up with us. Thank you so much for broadcasting this live to our viewers on Twitch. So excited to have the three of you. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So let's address the elephant in the room. Why is the sophisticated gentleman here? Because he's your guys' number one fan. I cannot tell you the how many conversations I have with SG without him bringing you guys up. He loves your podcast. So I kind of want to kick this. Listen, we're going to have a regular podcast tonight because there's some stuff I want to touch on tonight, but I do want to talk a little bit about you guys. So I'm gonna kick it over to any of the three of you. What is the Black Lincoln Collective podcast for those at home that are listening that don't know who you guys are? Give us a little bit of bio about what your podcast is about, how you started. Any one of you three, go ahead. The floor is
Usually
yours.
let Alan handle this.
Perfect. Because listen, I always let Scott handle it. Because as you can see, I like to ramble.
I'm gonna let
so I
Parker
always
take
let
care of
Scott.
it this
Scott's
time.
super, usually super concise with this. So I know there's one of you guys that are super concise.
Yeah.
And
I knew he would because he doesn't. He's like, oh, we do it every week. So we are the Black Lincoln Collective podcast. We are probably best described as a comedy variety, who the hell knows what's going to happen kind of show. It's pretty unscripted outside of like the first 10 seconds of the show every week. And we kind of just talk about whatever's going on, whatever we think is interesting or funny. Sometimes we do bits, sometimes we do games. Honestly, I swear to you guys, we have no freaking clue where any episode's going to go when it starts.
We like to go off,
And
That's
if we
the
do,
best
like to
kind
go
of
off the rails
show.
a little bit. So
yeah. Well, we're old friends, so we kind of would probably liken ourselves closest to like a mid '90s talk radio show, except with a lot of cursing and probably an equal number of fart noises, actually.
how did the three of you guys meet? You said you're long friends. So how'd you guys meet?
Well, Fred impregnated my sister twice.
Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty
And
good
Alan
reason to be
allegedly did it
acquaintances.
once.
Allegedly. That's allegedly.
no,
Right. And Alan and I have known each other, 20 some odd years. We are former roommates, all kinds of stuff. And then Fred and I have known each other for almost 20 years as well. We're old card buddies, actually. We used to play cards a lot together.
he's still
Lovely
trying to.
gambling.
Yeah, no,
That's
I mean,
why
it
he
was
won't
legal.
leave me
It was
alone.
fine. If the cops ask, it was
Stop
legal.
taking over.
They play Skippo and, you know.
Yeah, it was all gold. It was all go fish.
Yeah. I got it.
You know how it
me
is.
some Uno.
Sometimes somebody gets cut over a game of goldfish. It happens.
Yeah.
But no, we've just, like I said, we've always got along really well. We did have another member. Actually, we've had two other members at one time or another, and due to the complications of life, they have. I make it sound like they're dead. They're not dead.
I was gonna say, rest in peace.
They're just no
They're
longer. They're dead to us.
They're dead to us.
dead to us. Wow. Nick,
we
Chris,
love 'em.
that's what would happen if you guys left too. You'd be dead to me.
Perfect.
Let's all be real. You'll die way before we do, Scott.
Yeah.
Our two podcasts have a lot in common because you guys known each other for 20 years. I've known Scott for 2 years. That's felt like 20. So okay, let's get cut to the chase. Black Lincoln Collective. Where'd you come up with the name? Because if you ask us how we came up with our name, not a good story. I'd love a good podcast name story. So please, if it's not good, just make one up.
No, it is actually a decent story. Well, it's probably I don't want to sell it. I don't want to oversell it by saying it's decent. But so when Alan and I were roommates, in the late 90s, I guess, early 2000s maybe, we were very, very poor because we decided we would rather spend all of our money on drugs and booze and hookers than groceries and bills. And
We'll cut this. That's a great choice.
Decisions were made. So we used to go to the shop at this very, very, very questionable grocery store called Bargains Foods. It was literally where they would just put pallets of shit everywhere and just like,
Food is
this is $3. We don't know what it is or when it ran out of date, but it's $3 for a lot. So we're like, this is the spot. Well, one day we were walking around in there and we were in there even more questionable. I'm sure if I tell you the whole place was questionable, you wouldn't understand that the meat department of the questionable grocery store is arguably the most questionable area, maybe in the whole South, in all of South of the U.S. But so we were walking through there looking for various meats that were on sale. Great idea to get it on sale at the worst place in the world. And there was just randomly, there was a box, like a white box sitting by a number of different meats that were not labeled. And they really weren't.
Like on the
And we were
floor?
like, what is this? Yeah, I was like, what is this? What is this box? And so we opened it up, and it had a statue of Abraham Lincoln, who was what number president was Abraham Lincoln, Fred?
43. No.
Oh no, sophisticated gentleman's gonna lose his mind.
I only did that because I know Fred doesn't know. Sophisticated gentleman, would you mind taking this one?
Yeah, Lincoln would be the 16th president, I believe, from 1860 until 1865.
I knew it.
That's exactly what Fred said.
They sound uncanny.
Yeah, so we found this statue. It was like a little, statue of Abe Lincoln, except that he was he had lovely caramel colored skin. And it just didn't make a lot of sense at the time, but it made enough sense that I was like, you know what? We're gonna put back these really weird looking hot dogs, and we're blowing our grocery budget on the black.
We
Lincoln.
did.
And so the Black Lincoln. So we bought it, and it was like the centerpiece of our home, of our us and our roommates for what 10 years after that probably. And then it's kind of traveled around the country. Right now, it's in New York visiting some of Alan's relatives. So the statue lives on. That was like, when you're broke and you're stoned, you're like, look at this thing, man. Like, Black Lincoln is the coolest thing. And everybody who came in was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And we're like, we do live in South Carolina. So that actually adds up. Yeah. But yeah, so that's where it came from. That was, the Black Lincoln was like just kind of a cornerstone of our lives, in our younger days.
Wow.
So when we started the show, we were like, we need to come up with a name. And like the first thing that popped up was, we should call ourselves the Black Lincoln something. And collective sounded like a cool thing. So we were like, yeah, Black Lincoln Collective. Let's go for it.
3 people, is that a collective? I mean, yeah, it's got
That's
it's
a collective.
You know what I'm saying? We're a collective.
Yeah.
Yeah. 7
question
tonight.
your
I
own
just
show.
called
At
us
least you
a
got something right, Fred.
And I call this a Tuesday. And a Wednesday and a Thursday.
So to be clear, the Black Lincoln Collective, not because you're afraid of Lincoln, not because of 3 you were black.
No.
It's
Correct. Well,
it's because
no.
it's because of
Well, we use
Black from the waist
like,
down. Yes.
we
Everybody but Fred, ironically.
we use that as BLC, as we also the BLC podcast, but I told him that it stood for Black, Latino, and Caucasian, which also
Basically, we're all that.
Hey, that's
Which
fair.
Is actually true, which is why we don't use it.
And we're called No New Friends. So
Yeah.
and that's all we got.
None of us are friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Strictly business over here. Scott, you're gonna have to come up with some fucking kick-ass story now, because that was a great story.
That was a great story. Yeah, our story is terrible. I let Mary pick the name of the podcast just so I could get her on Zoom with me.
She's like, no new friends, just me.
Yes.
No new friends.
Yes,
And
exactly.
and because they're boomers, guys, because Scott and Mary are both boomers, they had no idea that the title of the podcast shared a very popular hip hop song by Drake.
No idea.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Because
so
I'm
there's that.
tragically.
So, Parker, what's funny is Chris and Sophisticated Gentleman met up in Philadelphia, right? The Museum of Art in Philadelphia.
Wonderful place.
And they found a piece of art that every time we talk about you guys, it comes into chat. It's a Black Lincoln.
It was a black Abraham Lincoln.
Real.
Chris can testify.
Yes.
As soon as we saw the Black Lincoln, the first thing that we thought of was your show.
Yes, he pointed at it and goes, "Oh my gosh, the Black Lincoln Collective." It was a literal African American Abraham Lincoln.
He was
What do you got,
modeled
like,
after our guy.
Hold up, bro.
He was.
See, Fred's the only one who can make those jokes.
Oh,
The rest of
man.
Alan and I are like, well, let's.
Yeah, I'm going to abstain.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so it was.
That's awesome.
I thought I should have snatched a picture because it could have been your album artwork. It was spot on.
On.
Fred.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, there you go.
So the 3 of you have been friends for what 20 years? You said,
Give or take, yeah.
give or take. Please give. Like with Scott, it's like, please give one of these years away, please.
So, like, my favorite story, like when I met Matt, I was working at Applebee's.
uh-huh.
It's
I'm
like
familiar.
2001. You know what I'm saying? I'm working at Applebee's,
Not a sponsor.
and everybody at the Applebee's,
That's that steakhouse, right?
yeah, the neighborhood steakhouse,
right.
yeah, eating good in the neighborhood. So, like, we would all get off work, and it was kind of like Waiting. Remember the movie? Did you anybody?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Waiting? Yeah. So
yes.
our Applebee's was truly like when they made that movie. I was like, oh shit! How did they get into our Applebee's? Like fired on us. But we would all go down to the local bar. You know what I'm saying? After work, and Matt was the bartender, and we would go there, like I said, every night after work. So he got to know us, and we would stay in that bar at like 6 a.m. playing cards.
Terrible
I mean,
bartender, by the way.
police outside, like, I mean, it's crazy stuff. And Matt would like give us drinks and put it on other people's tabs, like people didn't like and shit like
Dude,
that.
you're
So
selling me out.
this is a
Wow.
That's why I was a terrible
I'm gonna
bartender.
make him my
We'll cut that.
so free shit and parties. It's
Oh
I
man,
saved you guys from the cops.
friends.
Free sounds great. Scott charges me each week to actually be a host of a Friends podcast. So free sounds nice. Actually,
That's not true for you.
I do
Right,
pay
that's
money
the
to
first
have my own
confirmation.
segment on the show.
I'm the sponsor and I'm here. working.
felt bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we felt bad at
Yeah,
that point.
Nick, I think we have a really
so-
bad deal here.
Yeah. I know. I
We're
don't know
gonna
what
cut
we're
all.
doing.
We're gonna listen, editor. We're gonna cut all that. So the three of you, lifelong, essentially lifelong friends. For Scott, like 1/3 lifelong friends. And so when did you guys decide to do a podcast? And why? Like, what was the reasoning behind it? Was it just like you guys had funny conversations? Like, hey, we should record this because people are gonna listen and laugh at this, or was it let's make some money, or what was the idea behind this podcast?
It was certainly not. Let's make some money.
Yeah, it was-
yeah,
So
yeah,
if
hear
it
that.
was that, we immediately were like, no, that's not how this works at all.
right. Yeah.
We actually we did we started pre-COVID, like we had done what we did,
Oh,
like
pre-COVID,
6 or 8
that's-
episoes.
That's unique. Pre-COVID.
You're
is
one of the
unique.
few that started
Yeah,
in pre-COVID.
Well, so
You're
we
an OG.
started, and then like what we started, and then we quit. Not because we wanted to, but because we
Not
couldn't-
unique.
Yeah, well, we couldn't get the
Like,
we couldn't get the powers that be together.
together. Like
Well, COVID
Right.
actually
Yeah.
is what made it work because that's when Zoom came out and when all that stuff.
right,
Because before
yeah.
we all had to be
Right.
together in the same place.
Do you guys kind of miss COVID?
I was essential worker, so I had to
besides
work
all,
through
besides
it. so-
all the death and everything, it's
No, that was my
essential
favorite
worker.
part.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I do miss. We went to Vegas during
Yeah, we
COVID
did.
actually because we're idiots.
Oh,
And it was the best trip to Vegas I've ever
Yeah, we
had.
did.
that's amazing. Like there's all this death and destruction. Let's
Yeah,
go to
we
Vegas.
did.
Oh yeah, well,
Hey,
it was cheap, you know. Like, come on, you got a deal's a deal, guys.
That's right, we did.
Well, listen, even smarter than going to Vegas during a pandemic, when people can't travel and take vacations, Nick quit his job and starts a travel agency.
I know, right?
Brilliant idea.
I'm
Well,
very
we
smart.
probably booked our trip.
So thank you, Black
Sometimes,
Geek Collective.
No better time to strike. No one's expecting it.
So you guys were pre-COVID. So what the hell were you guys thinking? Because everyone during COVID is like, let's just record ourselves talking because there's
Yeah,
nothing.
literally
better to
every
do.
person's like, we are
Right.
smart. Let's do a podcast.
So what the hell
wants
were
to hear
you
what we
guys
have to say.
thinking? Yeah, right before COVID. That's crazy talk
So
to me.
yeah, I'm a I used to work in the radio. I was a like not an actual radio on air personality or anything like that, but I had aspirations. And sometimes when you have
So you listen to the
aspirations,
radio?
I used to listen to the radio sometimes. And and of course, so Fred didn't mention when the bar that we met at and began our lifelong love affair of each other was a comedy club. And so
nice.
yeah,
Applebee's. You're talking?
he was at Applebee's.
Oh, okay,
I was at a
okay.
place called Fat Fuds.
Applebee's.
Comedy and redneck.
Scott's house.
And so it was a comedy club, and you know, of course everyone's like, hey, you know, I'm kind of funny. So I was like, hey, I'm kind of funny, and Fred's like, hey, no, you're not. And I was like, this sounds like this is a great theory for a podcast. Let's do it. And Alan's like, I have equipment. And we're like,
I'm having
you're
deja
in.
vu.
So
Where are you guys from now?
we're broadcasting from the upstate of South Carolina.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Nice.
That's right. So we could be raided at any moment. just for having free speech. I don't like that. But no, like I said, we thought we like I said, big talk radio fans, and like I said, Fred's a really funny guy, and Alan also shows up. He's very dependable, which is really
Alan
all
is a man of many words.
He is,
important,
man.
actually, yeah.
Yeah. One time he said 2 sentences. We've tried to get him into the show, and we're like, dude, do this. We want you to do this. This is your sweet spot. Movie reviews, something. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, I watched the movie. It was good. And I'm like, what? That was it. So
Alan's your barometer, though. You need a barometer in the episode to know if you're doing good or not. You know, those facial expressions.
He tells us every time we're shit. Which is exactly what we're going for.
I will prove you wrong. Yeah, I will prove you wrong next episode. I promise.
I'm like, Daddy, Papa?
They hadn't done it yet.
Every time.
I mean, out of the three of you guys, though, like for those of you listening at home, if you're not watching us on twitch.tv/NNF podcast, Alan has probably the best thing in his background. It's a mannequin head, and there's a random red blinking light on it. So I don't know what's happening right now.
Nick, that's the recording symbol that we all have in our videos.
But that Nick,
but it looks like it's coming from the head. It's creepy.
It does.
That is a lifelike Kanye West mask that Alan wears for his escapades, his sex.
Is that is this actually serious? That's an actual. Wait, it's an actual Kanye West mask.
Yeah, look at this.
I'm sorry. Yay.
Yay.
It's off the.
Now, yay.
It's off the sex doll.
So listen, if you are if you are listening to this, I feel bad for you. Please tune in NNF podcast on Twitch, because this is a literal. Okay, so listen, this interview, appearance, whatever you want to call it, was going to go in a total different direction. But now I need to ask you, why the hell you have a mask of Yay, and where can I get one? Please cut that. Because
I got
I
it.
don't want people to know I asked
I was
that.
looking through Amazon and it popped up on my recommendations, and I was like, I got to buy it. So I bought it.
A little scary. It popped up on your recommendations. Not gonna lie. That was just like
Yeah. It was like, sure, might as well.
Definitely Amazon and not amateurSexDoll.
Can I ask you, for just my own curiosity, how much that mask was?
I think it was what, $17?
And are you married? So you did not have to explain to anyone.
No.
Questions.
No, actually,
answered.
it was during
Questions
one of our
answered.
meetings. We were talking about we were going to have Kanye on the show. This is when he was Kanye. We were going to have him on the show, and I was like, "Well, let's look it up." And I found the mask, and I bought it for the show.
So you bought this pre-anti-Semitism,
Yeah.
Kanye? Yes. Okay. Respectable.
Right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I think.
Right in the middle. It was on sale.
Listen, once he started his anti-Semitism, I bought 3 masks.
We finally have something in common.
I'm from Florida. It works. It's fine. So wait, Kanye West is no longer Kanye West?
It's Ye.
It's Yay.
Yeah.
It's just Yay.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's been Yay
Or
for
as
a
we
while.
call him here in the South,
Like
Yee.
Prince from like Prince did.
I tell you what, whenever a song come on, like I enjoy the hell out of them, but I gotta put the volume down a little bit. Like when I'm at a red light, I gotta put the volume down a little bit when my windows are, or roll my windows up and pump it up.
Yeah.
Still love the hell out of Kanye.
Yeah.
I might have to buy a couple of those masks.
Oh, yeah.
So I do want to kick this over to the Sophisticated Gentleman, because I know he's got a bunch of questions for the Black Lincoln Collective, because it's a totally different topic I want to get to in segment 2, which I want to talk, which I have not talked to anybody about yet. Sophisticated Gentleman, are there any questions, being an avid listener and huge fan of the Black Lincoln Collective, that you have had for the actual host of the show? And I'm asking this rhetorically because I know there are.
Oh yeah, this
By the
is
way, it's
absolutely
really
a thrill
weird
for
that
me
you
as
are
a big fan of the show.
us.
It is. It's
really weird that you.
It's really weird to me that people actually listen to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
It's
listen
very-
to the show.
You
It's
get
like,
used
damn.
to it. Never actually. You never get used to it.
So probably the foremost question that I had, I know that you guys have a lot of characters who pop in and out of the show. I'm not really sure who's playing them, things of that nature, but I was wondering if you guys have a favorite character that's appeared on your show.
So my favorite and my least favorite are the Devil, because the Devil's been popping up a lot.
B shows up.
He's kind
once
of
in
taking a little
while.
bit of a break. Hell must be pretty busy recently. And Robot Penis.
Yeah.
Detachable
Yeah,
Robot
detachable.
Penis.
Oh.
Those are my two favorite, and those are played. I can't tell you who plays those because
It's
it
confidential.
would kind of
Scott, can we get
right.
Robot Penis on here, please? asking for myself.
Can you buy that on it? Can you buy that on Amazon?
The answer is yes.
That's right, you absolutely can. Yeah. DRP is a good friend.
Yeah,
of ours.
DRP. Yep. Who's his mortal enemy? I forgot the name of the smoking robot.
Wasn't it Aliens or something? There was somebody that DRP
Oh.
hated.
He hated the
I don't know. He
smoking
started
robot
out
guy
as,
that
like,
he threw him in the
cattle-
trash.
A representative.
Oh, he represented the
Okay.
U.S. cattle
Yeah,
woman.
he does. He represents the youth.
Because why? Why wouldn't he?
I mean,
Why wouldn't a detachable robot penis be the representative of cattle women across the U.S.? Now, I don't know who
SG.
else. Let's see. Dr. Frenchie. I'm a big fan of his. He hasn't been on in a while.
yeah.
And then I personally like Leprechaun Elon
I do
Musk,
too.
which is
Yeah.
a big fan of his. So, and just to give you, SG a little bit of a background, none of us can do any voices. is the
Right.
thing.
No.
And when you can't, improvisation is the I don't know. there's not a
He's trying to be all like,
so I'm trying to say something fancy and I'm stupid and so I can't.
Improvisation.
No, so what it
Welcome
is
to the No New
is-
Friends podcast.
What is, what is it that they say? There's a thing that people say. No, that's not it. Laziness is the invention. I don't fucking know. But so
It
basically,
was beautiful, actually.
we can't
Too lazy
do
to look it up.
shit.
Lazy.
And since none of us could come up with anything, we just attach a name to a voice, and then that becomes the new character. I can't do a South African accent, but I can do a leprechaun accent. And we needed to have Elon Musk on the show, so Leprechaun Elon Musk.
And it really is funny seeing how you guys are able to like combine all those ideas. It's always such a highlight kind of hearing how those come in because you never really know what's going to happen when you got one of the characters.
oh, yeah, because we don't plan it at all. We don't. When detachable
Well,
robot penis shows
okay,
up,
this
we don't know.
On here's the subject matter. I'm going to ask you
right.
some questions. Not going to tell you what those questions are,
Mhm.
and then
It's like
we'll see what happens.
fun fact. We also don't know what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Those episodes as well.
same boat here. That's what the Black Lincoln Collective is all about. Unity.
Well, it's so much better when you don't know
You
what's
said
going
Unity?
on.
What?
When you're just improvising, it's natural. You don't have.
Improv is the best unless your name is Scott. It is a lot of fun.
And you know what's so funny about that? I mean, we literally improv our questions all the time.
When I say Scott, it's improv.
I like bread.
Well, we had that for a while where we were running into this issue with Fred specifically of the yes and issue where I'm like, Fred, when we're doing something, don't shut it down. Just say yes and please, so we can keep going.
Nah, man, I hate them shits. I don't like car rides.
And first rule Scott told me was never say no in improv. And actually, Nick told me when I visited him intimately, never say no as well.
Right.
So it's just two things it's just a thing I've always I never say no anymore.
I
For
feel
better
like
or
in
for
my
worse.
limited knowledge of Nick, he would not take no for an answer anyway.
No.
It's still
I do
consent.
want some of that.
It still gets
All I heard was yes.
I mean, you don't know what language it was in.
Yeah.
Hey, don't discriminate. Yeah, you're right. You're right, SG. SG, any more questions you had up your sleeves?
The other question that I really wanted to ask, obviously you guys have had a lot of different episodes that have gone in very different directions. Is there any in particular, like one episode that has really stuck with each of y'all?
Alan and Fred.
So yeah, like, and it wasn't even like funny. It was like it got real. Like
That could be any of them.
the little Faye one, where she started like
Oh, Linda, yeah, a few weeks ago.
yeah, when she started reading. She was like a tarot reader. What do you call it? Tarot tarot.
She was a medium and tarot reader.
Yeah, and like she started reading our shit and like very vague, but like kind of like exactly on point too.
She broke our brains a little.
You're
bit.
like a little scary.
Right.
Like, I don't believe it at all, but at the same
No.
time, it's like,
Yeah,
Well, like a lot of scary. Like
it was like, yeah, my wife talked to her, and he was like, "Yo, tell Freddie, give me a call because there was somebody that wanted to talk to him." I was like, "Fuck this shit! I'm not talking. I'm not calling." Who wants to talk to me? No, I'm not. No. Fuck that.
See, I'm trying to think what my favorite might have been. I don't know. It's so weird. I think that the one that I like, that I enjoyed the most, and like I'll sometimes go back and listen to, and it's really weird, by the way. I don't know if you guys ever go back and listen to your own shows, but it's really weird to do that, and I don't want to be. It's not because I'm like, oh, these guys are freaking hilarious. I'm like, no,
Scott
it's because like
thinks that.
sometimes I'm like, what were we talking about in that episode?
Yeah, right.
And because I don't remember. That's the problem, is that we had this happen 2 weeks ago where they're like, remember when you had this? I'm like, I don't remember anything. I have no idea. What
Is it
you're
because they have alcohol or?
I don't drink. No, I don't drink.
Yeah, me either.
I just do heroin. And I mean, usually just during
Allegedly.
the show. But no, I think my favorite is probably our Slap Glass. It was the name of the episode.
Yeah.
That was the one that was sponsored by
That was Tater Mitts.
what were
Glass?
Was that Tater
Glass.
Mitts?
I can't remember the
We'll cut
damn
this.
it, Alan, do you remember their names?
We'll plug it we'll have like an AI plug it or
See song
something.
Shang China?
Yeah, it was what was it? UL Technology Co. Ltd.
Yeah.
That's who it was.
That-
Which was
Which was a vape. It was
Again,
a
see,
vape
this
that
is-
I had. That's
Yeah, it was a vape that Alan had, and I was like, this is the longest address I've ever read
It was
in
in
my life
Humantown.
for any kind of company, and I was like, they have to sponsor the show.
And he read it like
So
over and over and over. Remember this from China, Hunan Town.
Humantown. It was Humantown.
La 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 la. Yeah. I mean, it
I love
was
it,
so fucking long, man.
man.
Jesus Christ.
No, that's been my favorite part of having this whole show, is getting the chance. And again, because I said we kind of do whatever. Like I said, if you listen, and I do appreciate anyone who does listen,
Got a favorite.
especially you guys. It's so random because sometimes
Organized
something-
chaos.
Oh,
Yeah, I would dare to say it's not even that organized. But sometimes, something pops up, and like I said, I beg Alan and Fred just to write down any ideas they have, but they refuse to do so for
Look at my
many
hand.
reasons.
I'm all right.
And so look at that shaky hand. And so like, sometimes I'm just
Alright.
would be driving down the road and I'm like, that would be hilarious. Let's do that next week. And some stuff takes months to like kind of flush out to the point where I'm like, okay, this is not a big pile of trash. It's just a medium pile of trash.
Which is fine.
Yeah, which is totally acceptable. I'm good with that. I just don't want to. My problem is I don't want to. You don't want to use any of the the good stuff, and like not have it at least to the point where you actually feel like it's funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't wanna
how
just,
many
like-
how many seasons did Friends last? I mean,
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know.
talking about medium piles of trash.
Hold on one second. It says sophisticated gentleman ran out of storage.
No.
Recording is stopped.
Storage.
What does that even mean?
Ran out of storage.
Yeah.
Nick told me I ran a storage. I said, keep going, man. I don't mind. Listen.
Like, I don't want
I
to
ain't
keep any
telling
of
you
this
this out.
shit.
I go at least 15 more
But
minutes.
does it record? Does it buffer and has a cache?
Well,
We're still figuring everything out, honestly. With this
No, what
Riverside.
Riverside does is it records locally. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so and it uploads in real time
yeah,
as
that's
it's
why it
going
says
on
uploading
to
on it.
Riverside's cloud, so that I can just pull the audio. The audio quality is much better than on Zoom.
Must be
but-
clear skies for SG then.
Nope.
Oh, he just was like, fuck
lost him.
this. If I ran out of space, I'm
that's
leaving.
right.
He was just impressed that we were here. He couldn't handle it. That's
I think
Exactly.
that's probably what it was. He is legit your biggest fan, and I am actually sad that he ran out of his little. He's got a little cloud. He's like 20. He got a little cloud.
He's
Oh,
back.
he's back. He's back. I think he's back. I don't know.
just in time for my costume change.
There we go. Just in time for my costume change. Welcome to the shit show. That should be the slogan for No New Friends podcast. Actually, that's actually I love that behind you. I might get that tattooed on, like under my
Yes,
eye.
welcome to the shit.
Yeah, welcome to the shits.
I love
Yes.
it. Fred strategically
What-
places his body in to make it say different things throughout the week.
Welcome
What's
to
funny-
shit hoe.
Welcome to the show.
So,
What's funny, Parker, I won't talk to anybody during the week because I'm like, we have to save this content for
All the time.
the air, especially if it's something that I know we're going to talk about. Or Mary, who I started this with, she'll start telling me a story. I'm like, no.
Yep. Nope,
I don't care that you're upset right now. I need you to wait to tell it on there.
Yeah,
That's,
I wish that was a joke, but Scott does hang up on me.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, save it. Save it.
Chris tore his
What?
Achilles?
You're in the hospital? You just tore your Achilles for the second straight time? Save it for the air.
Like, don't tell me.
We
that.
actually,
I
I mean,
don't
when you think about it, we don't
All the
talk.
content.
No, we
don't
don't
talk.
We don't talk during the week. I mean, we'll
try
send a
not to.
text
I try
here and
not to.
there, but that's about it. We don't talk
Yeah.
during the week.
Yeah, because
You
we
gotta
kind of
save
like you
them
said,
for the
it's the same thing.
podcast.
We save it, and then we do a meeting on Tuesdays, which is generally, honestly, like where we get all of our like bullshit out, for lack of a better way to say it. Where I'm like, Fred, how are your kids? Alan, how's the dog?
Yeah, that's basically
You
it.
look
We don't.
like shit, and he's like, thanks, you do too. And I'm like,
It's more like a
"Great,
sound
let's
check.
do the
We
show
do a
tomorrow
sound
night."
check. Our meeting's more like a sound check.
And-
That's it.
Yeah, it's more of a sound check thing, but that's when we're like, what are we going to talk about, this week? And it's usually like, oh, nothing. Okay, cool, that works. That's the same as every week. But then, Fred will be like, hey, so this. I'm like, no. Shut your mouth. Like, we'll talk about this tomorrow. And then, like, we get there and we talk about it. I'm like, well, that was disappointing. We should have talked about this last week.
that's most of Chris's stories, and we have a segment where I basically cut him off because his stories just don't go anywhere. So we've learned to cut him off now.
Yeah, if,
Much
if
like Chris with his scooter.
Yeah.
He also doesn't go anywhere.
it's a little too close
Too
to
real.
home for me to laugh.
Do
Actually,
you have one of those one-legged scooters that you, like, scooch around on or no?
Oh, absolutely. I got
Parker,
one at
this
Goodwill for
motherfucker has a peg
$75.
leg. He looks like a goddamn
I do have a peg
pirate
leg.
walking around his house.
I got a
But yes,
bunch of
he's got the scooter. He's got a peg leg.
He went to get a beer a little bit ago, and he looked like he was going to the Lollipop Guild.
100%. Yes.
Yeah, I actually only drink just so people know that I'm 21, at least 21. That's really the main reason for my drinking, and the other is the depression. But so have you guys ever had? Oh gosh, I don't want this segment to last 45 hours, but at the same time, I do. You guys are a podcast, like we're a podcast, and it's
Yes.
interesting to have podcast people on the podcast
Right.
because usually we'll have someone who has nothing to do with the podcast, or they're trying to start a podcast. It's like, oh, I think I'd sound really good on the podcast, and it's like, you
Shit
gotta
mics.
pump them up and make them sound, and then they're like, oh, yes, you sound great, you sound great, and so it's very rare that we have actual podcasters on the podcast. So I'd love to ask you, and please be as honest or as unhonest as you want, but please just make it sound good. Have you ever had someone on your podcast besides you guys that you're like, you have them on? It's like, how are we ever going to air this?
We actually,
we've had a few,
we have one that we did not air.
And have and you just haven't aired it.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, it was a fellow podcaster,
Yeah.
actually, that he's probably listening to this now, and he's a great guy, but he is not radio friendly. And we've had a few others too. Like we had the one guy. Who was that one guy, Fred? And I think we did end up airing it, but we had to edit. Alan, remember that we had to edit the Polk County Pop Playing guy,
Polk County.
Oh,
Yeah.
and we had to edit it so severely
Yeah.
because like he was, I don't know where he was, but he was like, there's a cloud over. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. There's a cloud over my house right now, so my internet's going out. And we're like, what is that? What? Again, that's not how internet works.
He was on the Starlink system.
And
It's funny. The first time we tried to interview Freddie, he said the same exact thing. He said, "There's a cloud over my house. I have no internet connection."
I'm surprised you could hear him. I had no idea what he was saying.
Dude, no, like, I apologize again about that because, like, I was in a real zone. No, because I was in a real zone. I was feeling really good about that night, and I was like, "This is it's like everything."
can I tell you how much of a shit show that was for on our
yeah.
end? By the way, just so you guys know, give you a little peek behind the curtain, as it were.
Please.
So I was like all excited because I was like, hey, these guys are great. They're super nice guys, and like can't wait to have them on the show. So I got the opportunity. Tenacious D was in Charlotte, which is just a little hop, skip, and a jump up the road. That is 100% a bucket list item for me, was to see, the D in concert. And so I was like, I can't miss this, because it's not going to happen again. One of us is bound to die at some point. It'll probably be me before I see Tenacious D again. So I'm like, Alan and Fred, you guys have got to rep our show. You got to go on there, be great, be, better than you've ever been. And I believe in you and freedom and America and fucking Eagles and rah, you could do it. And so I sent them a link to the show, and Alan, and see, okay, here's the thing. This is why we don't talk during the week, because Alan is, and I love him, but he's a dick. And so he'll do stuff that he knows is going to piss me off, and he'll do it strictly to fuck with me. And that's fine. But I kind of appreciate that, actually. But so I was like, send him the link, and he's like, send me the link. And I'm like, dude, I just sent you the link. And he's like, send me the link. I don't have the link. And this went on for 3 days, where I'm like, I sent him the link 6 times. So I was like, fine, I'll send you the link. Even though I've already sent you the link, I'll send you the link. And Fred's like, I got the link. And Alan's like, send me the link. Send it to me. And then he's texted Fred, send me the link. I'm thinking the whole time he's just doing this to piss me off, because he knows I actually care that we do a good job on this, And so then I call him after we're leaving the show, and I'm like, how did it go? And he's like, you never sent me the link. And I'm like, dude, I swear to God, I said it 1,000 times. And then he screen grabbed all of his text, our group chat, and it wasn't there. And so apparently he didn't get the link at all, ever, any of the hundreds of times I sent it. So I was just like, this is the biggest shit show of all time. And then Fred was like, I got on, and I had to get right back on.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah, his audio quality was just too good. I just didn't want him. I didn't want us to sound bad, honestly. So we had to just cut it short.
Speaking,
Listen, I'm getting text messages from Manscaped, our sponsor. Please, a reminder: use NNF code NNF to get a percentage off of your Manscaped order. So we got to go to break. We got to go to break. We got plenty more of the Black Lincoln Collective podcast coming up after the break. Manscaped was like, listen, we got to get the break. We got to get our commercial in. So we'll see you real soon. There are 3 things that I hate in life: taxes, nausea, and booking vacations. The first 2 I'm stuck with, but for the third, I use Sandpiper Vacations. Sandpiper Vacations is a small business that is LGBTQ+ owned and operated, with travel advisors all over the country. Whether it's a cruise, a trip to a theme park, or an all-inclusive resort, Sandpiper has you covered. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it's free. Why book a vacation when you can have someone else do it for you? That's like choosing to take the stairs in a building that has an elevator. Leave the headaches of booking a vacation to someone else. Get your quote today at www.sandpipervacations.com and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Psst. Hey, you. You want to join a cult? Well, this might be your lucky day. For just $2 a month and a simple blood oath, you can join our clubhouse and become a friend with benefits. In addition to the amazing feeling of donating to the poor, you will have access to Patreon-exclusive content, live shows, and maybe even a behind-the-scenes look at my secret stash. To get started, head on over to NoNewFriendsPodcast.com and hit Join Our Clubhouse. Can't wait to see you at the initiation ceremony. Oh, and in the chat during our live shows, of course.
Hope you really enjoyed those ads. Took a really long time to record them. If you skip through them like a scumbag, click that rewind 15 seconds about 4 or 5 times. You'll be able to hear every single word of them in all of its glory. Give you a couple seconds. All right, welcome back to No New Friends After Dark. This has really been weighing down on me on my mind lately. So we've seen a lot of the in the past year, California talked a lot about slave reparations, and there's a lot of evidence towards whether they descendants of slaves should or should not get reparations. Oh. And we're not talking about that tonight. We're talking about something that I thought of: gay reparations. So we got Nick on here, our emotional support gay. So should the gays get reparations? I actually have some pretty good answers. Should they or shouldn't they? And then what should they be? Scott, I'm going to kick it right over to you because I think that you have I haven't talked to you about this at all. Full disclosure. This is the first time I'm bringing it up. I did text you while you were heavily intoxicated today about it. I said I would love to talk about gay reparations tonight. You then half hour later said, is there anything anybody would like to talk about on the show tonight? So did not know if you were homophobic or just drunk. So please,
I was drinking Bud Light, so definitely not homophobic.
Who said he can't be both?
He does live in Florida, so.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know how to answer this question. I think that in the 80s, we didn't know what gay was.
I'm talking about
and if you were gay,
23, Scott. Let's not.
I know.
I was born in the 80s, or I'm sorry, 70s, and back then we thought differently, and today, please save us the bullshit.
Good voice.
Yes. The answer is yes.
And
I'm going to pull a Freddie and not throw an and on there.
That seemed pretty forced.
So what would it be called?
Actually.
Gay parations?
No, I mean we're
gay reparations.
It would be
gay reparations.
Oh,
yes.
I was waiting on my turn to say that because it sounded fabulous.
Leave him at
Reparations, Alan. Jesus.
The gay community, what would you give them? Like,
yes, perfect.
Sorry, recreated a disease that almost wiped you out, or like, I mean, what would you?
I'll take money.
You want to just? Give
I'll take it if you're giving it out.
No. See, well, first, no, we're not. Listen. No, we're not giving you money, Nick. First of all, we're too broke. We're not giving you money.
You got to tell me what we're giving them before I can answer.
Listen. Okay, perfect. This is okay. So I do have a perfect envisionment of
slaves want money. We want the money.
Well, listen, we'll give you the money. We're gonna give the gays something else.
So, viewers, whatever Fred is about to say does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Black Liquid Collective Podcast.
Is Fred? I think Fred's trying to say he's black and gay.
Hey, if I got to double down,
He's like, double the money, I'm in.
The BBC.
So,
yeah,
BBC segment.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued. Downloading.
You will be disappointed.
So, gay reparations. Before I give what I think the gays should get for reparations, Nick, what do you think you deserve?
I don't know. I mean, we've always been told that we're going to be sent to gay camps, basically, and be forced to turn straight. But every time I think about a gay camp, like, it actually sounds freaking amazing. Right. Like, there's a gay campground I go to here every summer, and it's the most beautiful campground we've ever seen in the valley. Like, just amazing views of the trees. There's men having sex in the woods. There's, like, glitter everywhere. Like, it's what you dream of it. Like, I don't understand where the negativity would come from out of that. So,
glitter everywhere.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I completely agree, because if there's one thing that gay people can do, it's turn a negative situation into something awesome. Like, in my experience, and I shit you not, I'm a straight gentleman. I have a bunch of kids running around somewhere doing whatever. But all the best parties I've ever been to, all the most fucking fun I've had has been at, like, in mostly hanging around gay people, because they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's so much better.
That's literally what we talked about on, like, one of our first After Dark episodes. It's just the gay culture is amazing. It's so fabulous, and we're culturally gay.
And Nick, please back me up with this, but you don't give a shit because you've used an enema already. And it's not cleansed.
I did not have Chipotle that day. So I don't give a shit. Because there ain't none in there.
So
Cleaned it out the day before.
One of the gay reparations, this is an example, is I think like you should like free Broadway tickets for life. Like it's like if you're gay and you have to prove it. I don't know how. You can tell me that.
You know how.
But
Fred will figure it out.
free Broadway tickets.
Free Broadway.
I'm done with that. I'd take that. But I feel like, I mean, most Broadway shows I go to, the entire audience is gay. Anyway.
See? Free.
So.
All of you, free.
But see, okay,
and me,
but
though.
now hold on a second, Chris. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
And Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but generally speaking, people who are of the gay persuasion have so much more available income
It's true.
than us straights with our kids and our bills. Like they can afford the Broadway. That's not,
that is a
Well,
really good
that's not an
point.
issue.
I spent all mine. I spent all mine at Disney, so
I
I'm right there with you, brother.
I will say that Nick, it is slightly unfair that women get paid 60%, and you are in a relationship with another man, so you're making way more than the average heterosexual couple.
well, I pay myself, and it's not very much because, as we talked earlier, I have clients like Scott that reach out to book a vacation and don't follow through or don't respond to my texts. So
That is
I'm only paid commission, so I need people to travel. I mean, it's true. Oh, there was a study that came out a few years back when I worked for a gay marketing agency for about 8 years. There was a study that came out. I'm based in Columbus, Ohio, and they said 75 cents from every dollar in Columbus was spent by a gay person.
Oh,
So
Wow.
that was because I've vacationed. I do think another good gay reparation would be to totally forget about how we all use the word gay in a negative term in middle school and high school, and actually start using the word straight negatively. So next time I hear about something dumb, I'm gonna that is so straight. That is so straight. That is the straightest thing.
So then when something is real, instead of saying damn straight, do you say damn gay?
Damn.
Wow, yes. Oh, that's a good point. Damn gay instead of damn straight. I actually love that.
He's already started telling Nick, tell me with a gay face. That's not true.
Gay up. So we're gonna change the word gay from negative to positive. Straight is now negative. Man, another gay reparation. Scott, I feel like you have a lot of these. Literally just looking at you, I feel like you probably wrote down a list.
I didn't write down a list. You're putting me on the spot, and I'm not very good at improv. I didn't really give this much thought.
Okay, I'll go. 50% off at Michael's anytime you want to go. 50% off at Michael's.
I mean, it's already 50% off pretty much every time you go in.
Just got to Google it. Honestly, you're right. Let's give you 60% off. The straights get 50. The gays get 60%.
I want 50% off at Disney because Disney is the most supportive of the gay community.
Yeah, we'll do Disneyland.
Okay. Well, yeah, because Florida, we can't do much in Florida, unfortunately.
No official gay days in Florida.
No.
Official
I
in
think that
California.
gay people. I feel like gay people should get like fast passes to brunches.
That's a good one.
Like, straight to the front of the line.
Primo.
Because first of all, they're better tippers
It's
than us
very
straights.
true.
That's for damn
Yes.
sure.
What
we should
percent
also
tip-
As a former server,
We should figure out a way that Mexican food is not as hard on the anus.
Yeah,
we should work on that.
Somebody could,
like GMOs.
if somebody could help with the
GMOs,
Mexican food, because I love Taco Tuesday, and we invented Taco Tuesday. We, as in the gays. But Wednesday for butt stuff is not the best, to be honest. So if somebody could work on that, would be great.
We will introduce GMOs to Mexican instead of just Chinese. I think that's a perfect Chinese food. I think that's the perfect way to fix that.
Nick, what would you say are the top 3 mixed drinks of the gay community?
Okay.
Can any of us take a guess?
Let you guys guess.
Oh, Sex on the Beach, number 1. No.
No.
Pina Colada, number 1.
Appletini.
Appletini.
Only
Yes.
only muscly straight dudes order pina colada.
Yeah.
And anytime I see a
Guilty,
dude
but
drinking
not
an Appletini, I'm like, my gaydar goes off immediately.
They're delicious though. Like,
Yeah, well,
oh,
that and an Angry Orchard. What are you doing?
I love an Appletini.
Yeah.
I feel
you
like
go.
I'll be
with
like,
the straights,
put it in this glass.
I feel like what the straights think
Pour the
gay
beer
drinks
can.
are, like the gay people are drinking probably the quote unquote manliest drinks out there. Like I feel like Nick is like pounding like just straight vodka on the rocks.
So and that's where I was going to go with this. So the number 1 drink in the gay bars is Tito's and soda, and it's always Tito's and soda. After you have 1 Tito's and soda, you ask for a Tito's and vodka. So yeah, I always loved when I bartended and people would be like, "I'll have a Tito's and vodka," and I'm like, "So you just want vodka to drink?" And I mean, most gay bar drinks are literally just vodka anyway, so it makes sense. So
Wait, what's number 3, Nick?
well, Fireball was like the big shot in the gay bars, like it blew up. But
I've noticed that lately. Fireball is just
Yeah.
like, "Let's do Fireball, man."
Fireball
Like,
was like huge for a minute, and we blew up that brand, I think. Right now it's kind of like the green tea shots because the guys are like, "Oh, it's healthy," but it's really not. It's peach schnapps, which is pure sugar. So so it's not what we think. We're not ordering Appletinis every time you go into the bar, but it's always Tito's and it's something in soda. The gays love their soda.
But see,
that was,
that's because you guys care about your bodies.
I'm old.
Yeah, and it's like you can't just do that. You can't pound 6 or 7 Appletinis and expect to keep it tight.
Like,
Tell you
what
what,
do we keep them tight?
Yeah, that's what he
I
said.
know how to
Straights are
keep.
like
I know how to keep it tight.
anything, all of it. I know you do that. There was never a question, Nick.
Gaggle bus.
Before we go any further, guys, I did forget to mention Nick is gay.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Spoiler
Damn,
alert.
I didn't know that.
The guy named on here, emotional support gay, is in fact gay.
Well, see, we're from South Carolina, so reading isn't our strong suit.
That's why I knew I had to bring it up.
I thought that said emergency exit.
Damn, we got confused.
All of a sudden, their internet's not working anymore, and they all leave.
He's that.
Oh, oops. That's not legal here. It's all right.
It's dangerous because Nick's abbreviation is so similar to mine.
right.
I'm SG, he's ESG.
It's a sophisticated gentleman, super gay. Nick is just extra super gay. You thought it said emergency exit. When I'm with Nick, I'm the emergency entrance, actually. And then exit, and then entrance, and exit, and entrance, and exit, and entrance.
Well,
But
and
anyway.
we were talking in our group chat earlier, and I'm sure Scott skipped by it because he was like 8 Bud Lights deep by that point. And
By 9 a.m., guys, 9 a.m., I was 8 deep.
and
If you don't start early, how are you gonna get
Chris was 8 inches deep by that point when I came over. So he was talking about kind of negative terms and stuff, and like kind of saying the negative, using straight as negative. So in the gay world, we call the straight community breeders.
Breeders. Yeah.
Breeders.
Breeders.
That's so breedy.
That's kind of our negative terminology for it.
I love that.
That's like that's a racist term for straight people.
Yeah. Ryan, don't
love
use
that,
that
though.
next week, please.
Jesus.
You're the last one who has to worry, Nick. Trust me.
Wow. I'm
No,
offended.
I love that. I think that's a lot of gay friends
Yeah.
of mine use that all the time.
Or it's like, I was fucking
it's the, same,
breeders.
it's the same inflection as like okay
Yeah.
boomer. Except it's like, okay, breeder.
I love that.
I'm like, I am one of them.
I wish I heard that word, but Nick just calls me daddy. I have no idea why he called me a breeder.
Oh shit.
Anyway, Scott doesn't even like gay people, but he loves ratings, and gay is really trendy right now. So Scott was like, "Hey, come on in." He's from Florida, so you got to.
I mean, Scott's so old that he thought gay just meant happy when he let Nick on. He was like, "Oh, that's really happy."
It's like, oh, we just have a really happy person.
I thought his husband was just a friend. I had no idea.
Yeah,
they were roommates.
I was at a job one time, and this is the funniest thing. I don't know. But like, we had this gay guy that worked with us at the job, and we were at a restaurant, and we had this other guy who was like this New York street dude. Excuse me.
Did they have sex?
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
We thought it would be funny if like we told the gay guy to just go like brush up against him, rub on his hand. And so the dude was like, "Yeah, it'll be funny. Why not?" And he did it, and the guy, he got so mad. He was, "Yo, I ain't with all that extra happy shit." You know what I'm saying? With all the extra happy shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, but I thought it was so goddamn funny. I'm sorry.
It'd be really funny if the next time we hung out, if you just like brushed up against me, like maybe even just like, I don't know, like took your clothes off and just start brushing up again. That'd be really funny.
Oh, I did that when I'm at Scott the first time. So.
Oh my god!
True story.
And then he's like, we should start.
Oh man, tonight's been so much fun. It's been so gay, as in the happy way. Listen, I'm straight. Okay, it's been I don't know, Scott. Should I go to break or should I go to summaries? I think I should just go right to summaries. I hear you, like, because I'm not asking you this because I want your opinion. I'm asking you this because I want your permission. Because I really just want to hear. You've been typing away this whole time, and I'm just very curious.
Yeah, Scott's have that blank look like Stephen Hawking.
Do we have time? Can I ask Nick a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Parker. You have a question?
I just have a quick question for Nick. Yeah, Nick, and I know, and seriously, I'm curious about this. So obviously, a lot of people, especially like where we're at, are not huge fans of people who are queer. But how in your experience, do you get to use that as an advantage for anything? Like, have you ever been able to get out of a situation using like your God-given talents in that manner?
Oh, that's a really good question.
It's a great
because
question.
I almost kind of brought it up earlier when Mary's talking about how she got pulled over. I got pulled over last month, and it was a male cop, but he more so wanted to talk about my car. And I'm like, I don't know if he saw that it was two dudes and a daughter in the back seat, but I mean, I flirt all the time with guys, so I flirt with the bartenders to get extra drinks. I don't know if they're gay or not. I'll flirt to get more alcohol. I mean, it's
free is free.
It's same kind of concept, I guess. Sometimes I'll put my chi-chis together, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Okay.
Parker, that was an awesome question. Actually, before we wrap up and go to Scott summaries, do you guys have any gay?
I know.
We had this thing when we had this
haven't
gay
done this in a
101
while.
Yeah. Scott and I, the first time we ever had Nick on, we did a gay 101. We did not prepare you guys for any of this, but do you have any gay questions for Nick? Because Nick is very open and,
Yeah, we had
100% truthful.
We had a Q and gay. We had a Q and gay, and then we did it once.
It was Q.
We're like,
that's awesome.
we're like, oh, this is an awesome
was Q and
segment,
gay.
and then we changed it all.
Yeah. And then Nick answered.
Isn't that
those
really what
questions.
it matters, though?
Yeah.
Like, once you can come up with a catchy name, you're like, this segment's gonna work.
Oh yeah.
And then
it worked for that.
We try that all the time, and I'm like, we found the name. Who
And
cares
then
what
40
happens
episodes
after
later,
that?
we haven't done it since. But thank you for asking.
If you guys have any,
sounds
if
right.
you guys have any Q and gay questions, please fire away. If not, we'll
when-
just cut this whole thing.
Like when
No,
me
I'm-
and Parker were roommates, Parker's sister, her best friend. Was he Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah,
Bobby's cool as shit.
Yeah, he was gay, and he came and hung out at the house, and after 30 minutes, he realized, holy shit,
He was in you?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. So like, well, no.
It was like
No,
I
in
woke up
30
with some
minutes, he was
cranberry
done and
juice,
ready
and
to
I was
go.
like, "What the fuck?
Go
I
on.
got cranberry juice
Go
next to
on.
me," but.
Well, no, there's so again, we're in the very, very, very center of the Bible Belt.
Yeah, which is
So
super interesting.
It is, right, it's super conservative here for the most part, and because of that, there is a severe stigma towards gay people. Like it is, I mean, Jesus, we're in South Carolina. Our senator, Lindsey Graham, maybe you've heard of him.
Once or
is
twice.
sincerely probably the gayest guy in our state.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that to be offensive to you, Nick, in any
He
way
looks-
whatsoever. And I don't know if you're like willing to even be associated with that dude because he's a bag of dicks. Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for a gay guy. I don't know. But there's been so much stigma. It's so like again, I think Fred and Alan and I were lucky to grow up when we did. I mean, we had plenty of gay friends in high school. I did. We didn't go to the same high school or anything like that. But I mean, I had plenty, and so I had a ton of exposure. Take that however you want. To plenty of gay people, And so I mean, I think, like I told you seriously, I wasn't joking around. I wasn't trying to be facetious, but like sincerely, some of the best times of my life have been hanging out with a group of dudes who are into dudes. And like they just it's the like openness about it and like the willingness to not have like the stigma of like, oh well, we can't do this because they don't give a shit. The first time, and this is such a stupid thing, but it's so true. The first time I ever had curry was with like a group of gay dudes, and it literally changed my life. And ever since, like curry is like my favorite thing, like curry flavored things and everything, and also gay dudes are like my favorite thing. So, and it's happened at the same time. It was weird.
Did we
Two
just
changes
become
at
best
once.
friends?
But right, hey Nick, I'm here, buddy. Let's go. I will take you to the one gay bar that we have that hasn't been shut down yet. And we will have a blast for 10 to 15 minutes before I get tired and go home. But no, but I mean I really don't have any questions. But what is your favorite
Sex position?
What is,
Oh.
I don't want to say what's your favorite. Well, I was gonna say I don't want to say what's your favorite part of being gay, but
That's actually a good question, actually. I love that question. But please go on with your question if you had another one. But I really like that question. I never asked you.
Well, I was going to ask for any tips that you may have looking from the outside.
Listen,
in.
don't ask Nick for tips. We'll give you the
I'll
whole
give it.
thing.
Yeah, I'll give it the one. I have equal opportunity. So for me, like and we've talked about it on the podcast previously, I wasn't comfortable with my own skin until probably late 2015, maybe around there. I worked for a gay marketing agency for 8 years, and even then, I wasn't as comfortable. And over the years, I've just learned that the whole give zero fucks attitude is my motto in life anymore. And I'm like, and Chris has talked about it. I wear a Speedo on a Disney cruise all the time, and I don't care what.
Where's the hell out of it?
I don't care anymore. I used to like ease my way into it slowly, and then now I'm just like, first day I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. Just I'm living my best life. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm happy to be who I am and where I've gotten in life, and just celebrate life because it's too short. Give zero fucks.
Yeah.
Dude, that is awesome. That's a great answer to a question I didn't even ask, but that is a great answer.
You know what though, Parker? I give you credit because like you say that as a joke, kind of. What's the best part of being gay? But we've never asked that question. We've always looked at the negatives of how hard is it being gay and this about. But like being gay is like there's a lot of like.
No, I feel like it's free. I feel like the change from like you said, not being comfortable with yourself and not feeling like yourself, to have that page flip over and then you're like, I finally found myself and I feel like this is me, has got to be an amazing feeling.
Bro, I've been straight all my life and I've known it, and I still ain't found that. You know what I'm saying? Within myself. You know what I'm saying? So like, good on you.
It took a lot of therapy, a lot of medication, and a lot of weed.
Fred's tried 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, listen, hanging out with the three of you guys is something I never knew that I needed, but I don't think I can get enough of it. You guys are gonna have to come back on After Dark again sometime. This has been a lot of fun.
Only in
Yes.
the dark.
Yeah.
Only in the dark. No, it's really No New Friends During Dark. I don't know why I call it After Dark. It is very much 11:12 p.m. right now. After Dark was something that I came up with, so of course it doesn't make sense. Seriously, Alan, Freddie, and Parker, thank you so much for coming on. And if our listeners loved what you had to say, which I'm sure they will, because you guys have been great, where can they find you?
Check us out at blcpodcast.com. We have all the social medias. We have an X, Patreon that only my wife and Alan's brother are patrons to. So we don't ask people for we don't do this for the money. Obviously, look at us. But check us out, like I said, at blcpodcast.com and all the socials. We are very thankful that you guys had us on. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
We would love to come on anytime. And really seriously, thank you guys very much. And thank you, Sophisticated Gentlemen, for being a fan.
Yeah. Hey,
You don't have to keep doing it if you don't want to.
Oh, it's a great show. I absolutely love it. You guys always crack me up.
heck yeah.
Thanks, man.
Sophisticated
Invite him on our show.
Is that a painting of Starry Night behind you?
Oh yeah, it is not the real one.
Yes.
But
I
it's
know
just a
Hold on one second.
Thank you
Fred's-
for clarifying.
Okay, hold on. Fred wants to show you. I knew Fred was going to do that.
Yes.
As soon as he said sorry,
Do not take off your pants, Fred. Okay.
No, so Fred came to my house not
Well,
too
Nick's
long
like,
ago. I mean, he can't probably hear us, so I can say this. And he stole a priceless piece of artwork from my home. I shit you not.
You had this sitting
Go
in the
ahead.
garage.
Ooh.
Oh, is that what?
that
Like one of those
is-
paint night things? Oh, it's the Death Star.
Star
That's
Wars.
going on.
Sitting in Matt's
In
garage.
the
His
style
wife
of Van Gogh.
has been sitting in his garage forever. And I came over one day and she was like, I got my paint. I've been painting this all out. And she's like, you want one? And I saw this and I was like, ooh, hell yeah. I was like,
Hell yes.
and Matt's like,
That's badass.
painting.
That's so cool.
And I stole it from him.
He stole
Yeah.
it.
That's
he fucking
really
national
cool.
treasured me, guys.
She painted it. I said, does this have a name? And she said, no. And I said, it's the Death Starry Night.
Death Starry Night.
Death Starry
I like
Night.
it.
Oh, she did pretty good.
Wow. You got a steeple in there.
I
Too.
love
think there's a
that.
church-
I
think
love
there's a
that.
Church. I think there's a pretty sure there's a church in there.
Hey,
I love it.
Praying that
That
Death
was,
Star
that was in
doesn't-
my wife's painting phase, before her soap phase, before her every other thing
Yeah.
that she does phase.
Listen, fucking white people.
For her, why don't we have the saving scout phase?
You damn right.
Now, fun fact: Sophisticated Gentleman actually painted that with his scrotum. Now,
Taint paint.
actually, I painted. It was a gift from me.
Baseballs.
Blackland Collective Podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. This was amazing. Really, like this was actually genuinely like a lot of fun. This was a really fun episode. Loved having some conversations with you guys. We do have one more little segment. Which do you want to do it now, Scott?
Just do it now.
I don't-
Yeah, just do it now.
We'll do it
Less
live.
editing.
Do it
do it
live.
live.
Let's do it live.
Do it live.
Let's do it live. Scott, you have any summaries for us?
I do, and they're not the best this week. My ghostwriter took a nap or
All right,
something.
we'll skip it. We can skip it.
I mean, he's
All right,
pretty old.
so-
we might need to check in on him.
Yeah. All right. So everyone thinks that just because I live in a gated community, I'm racist, which is a bit racist, right? You know,
Sure.
Well, tonight we had the Black Lincoln Collective podcast on. I haven't seen this much color on my screen since my family got their color TV back in 1976.
Talking about it, right?
Chris said, let's address the elephant in the room. Chris, it's nice to see you tonight.
Oh,
Parker said that they are a comedy show. I used to consider us a comedy show, and then we met Chris. The guys from Black Lincoln Collective are lifelong friends. Chris and I will be friends for the rest of our lives. With Chris's recent weight gain, that'll be for about a month and a half more.
God, my legs are getting amputated next month. Actually, I just scheduled the surgery.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me.
trying to lose some weight.
The The sophisticated gentleman asked Parker what his least favorite character on BLC podcast was. Well, sophisticated gentleman, I've got a question for you. Who is your least favorite character on No New Friends, and why is it Chris? I got a really weird text in the middle of the episode. So Parker said he really wanted to see the D in concert. Nick texted me like right away and was like, and he asked if he could ask Parker if he could take him to the Big D concert. I don't know. Chris, your hosting is always questionable. Did you really have to wait till the one episode that we have a black guy on to talk about slave reparations? And lastly, Parker said something about pounding Appletinis. Chris just texted me and he asked me to start introducing him as Appletini. So those are my summaries.
Thank you, I guess, Scott. I'm really glad you guys tuned into the last ever episode of No New Friends After Dark. No, seriously, thank you, Black Lincoln Collective Podcast, so much. Please check out blcpodcast.com. Black Lincoln Collective Podcast is streaming everywhere you get your podcast. They are three really great guys that put on a really great show. and I strongly encourage you to please check out their podcast. If you love banter, if you love conversation between three lifelong friends, if you love just good comedy and good conversation, please check them out. I think, and honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I think some of the best podcasts are just conversations between friends that just want to shoot the shit, and that we're not much. That's what we do. Honestly, we don't. Scott literally declines my calls so we can talk about what I have to say on Wednesday nights, and I think that's some of the best conversation. And why the hell not record it and make a show out of it? I think you guys are great. I strongly encourage anybody listening at home who does not know who the Black Lincoln Collective Podcasts are to please check them out. Parker, Alan, Freddie, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. You're way too kind.
Yeah, really.
You guys are great. Do not ever sell yourself short. You guys are great. You put on a great product. You put on a great show.
I sure hope that check don't bounce.
The PayPal's on the way.
On behalf of myself, Scott, our emotional support gang, the sophisticated gentleman, Alan, Parker, and Freddie from the Black Lincoln Collective Podcast, thank you so much for listening to No New Friends After Dark. We will see you again next week.
What are you, fucking Mickey Mouse?
I don't
See you
know.
real soon.
I don't know. I'm not a host, Scott. You're like, listen, I got this idea for a second show a week, and you're going to host it.
You motherfucker, you had the idea for the second show of the week.
You said you're going to host this shit. I'm done.
I did say you're going to host the second. If you want to do a second show,
you said I did
you can
3
host
episodes a week, and it was hell. You're hosting the second show a week. I don't know how to host.
This is your 33rd episode hosting.
Here, right?
I'm halfway through hosting a podcast for dummies.
You're listening to No New Friends After Dark. We'll be right back.
That's what I usually say. That's what it is. That's what it is.
I feel your pain.
Now I remember. Oh.
No New Friends After Dark has been brought to you by Sandpiper Vacations. SandpiperVacations.com. Just check out our website, NoNewFriendsPodcast.com. Become a friend with benefits. Check out our sweet merch and so much more. This has been a No New Friends Entertainment LLC production.